Everyone. We are so excited to have you here today for our latest Leadership Coach series. Today's webinar is How Career Sponsors Accelerate Your Success. So if you've been a part of some previous Leadership Coach webinars that we've had, we're kind of doing a mini series right now about your network. Then we talked about mentors in the last one. And then today we're talking about sponsors and the difference between that. And I'm very excited to welcome my colleague Sarah, who's here today. And she is our program manager for our early career programs at Forte. So she is kind of an expert, if you will, in helping talent kind of figure out their next opportunities, specifically working with our early career talent that's moving on to their MBA program. So again, we're very excited to welcome you and everybody here today to our leadership coach session, again, for those that are just arriving, on how career sponsors accelerate your success. So with that, I'm actually going to have her go ahead and take it away and kind of get a deep dive into this content.
Thanks so much, Alexia. And thanks everyone for joining us today. I'm really excited to be here to talk about career sponsors and accelerating your career success. As Alexia mentioned, my name is Sarah Dewar. I am a program manager on the early career team here at Forte, primarily working with individuals who are early in their career, but looking to make that next step and accelerate via a MBA program. So really helping you all build your best applications, think of those critical next career steps, really kind of making a game plan for how you're going to achieve those goals. But for today's session, we are going to talk about sponsorship. So Alexia mentioned this is part of a series. We are going to kind of briefly talk about the difference between sponsors, coaches, mentors, and many other words that might seem similar or associated to these types of things. We're going to talk about who needs a sponsor and why you need a sponsor, how you can find a sponsor, where to find the sponsor, and then ultimately how you can help them help you. They, as your sponsor, are going to do you lots of favors, hopefully, and spread lots of good word about you. So you want to make sure that they know what they need to know to be able to benefit and advocate you. As I mentioned, sponsor, mentor, coach, friend, advisor, you might hear all of these different words. There might be some programs at your organization, or you might hear people posting on LinkedIn that their advisor or their mentor or their friend helped them do this, 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 and this. So again, lots of different types of developmental relationships that could be happening in a personal or professional setting. Most often they are professional, and that's kind of where we're going to start today, or they have some sort of benefit to your professional identity, most likely in career growth. These types of roles can vary depending on your experience level, and they can change throughout your career. So someone you have as a mentor now could eventually become a sponsor for you, or maybe right now there's no need for a sponsor, and later you have a higher need for that. And so again, keep in mind that any of these different roles might play different parts at different times throughout your career. Not only can you have any of these things, I think it's also important to remember that you can be any of these things to other people as well. And so a big thing at Forte is, just helping our community get where everyone wants to be and lifting while we rise. And so it's not lost on us that you have the opportunity to also be a mentor or sponsor or share someone else's name at the table throughout your career as well. So let's define what is sponsorship. So essentially, this is a champion, someone who is going to share your content, your ideas, your discoveries, someone who's really saying your name in a positive way. Ultimately, this person is going to be kind of sticking their head out, sticking their neck out for you, using their established power, their established credentials, their network, reputation, and position within an organization or situation to help get your idea, your thoughts, your content on the radar of others sitting at the table you're sitting at. So you might not have a seat there at that table, but your sponsor is bringing your ideas and showing everyone at the table what that might look like. So it's someone saying, again, you need to know her in a room that you're not even in. And we would all be very lucky to have someone like this in our careers. So let's just take a quick moment to really think about who those people are in your circle. If you think you have people in your professional circle, write them down, consider what their role is. Are they a mentor? Are they a sponsor? Are they just a coach? What's missing from that relationship, or the transactional aspect that would help move them from not only just a mentor or a coach, but how they can be a sponsor. And if anyone has any ideas and you would like to drop them in the chat, you are welcome to do that. A big part of this process, I think, is the self-reflection of those people that are in your circle, that are in your network, and what you want from them, what's in it for you, what's in it for them to be your sponsors. So here is just kind of a new paradigm, if you will, of what sponsorship looks like. And you can see it is very, again, fluid depending on the relationship type. Counselors, coach, maybe provides you with some advice and support. Consider those more of like a private relationship, where an advocate is not afraid to say, hey, I stand by this person and their content, their ideas, and I think that they would be great for your team. And they're really kind of pushing your future and your goals onto others within their organization. So you can see kind of as you move forward or move closer to the public relationship, you become a connector, or someone might be a door opener for you. Someone might be an opportunity giver, or just simply an advocate for you. And so we'll come back to this in just a minute. But there's some really interesting research out there on how to do sponsorship right. Harvard Business Journal has a lot of different things out there that you can understand really what these varying things or opportunities or personas provide you, and how they can be impactful at various stages of your careers. Oh, someone said they've been told by sponsors that I need to share more about my goals before they can advocate for me. This is great. It's really great comment. And I think we're going to get there in just a few more minutes. I found this article or this graphic today while I was doing some research, and I think that it is really clear to see the visual of which way you can go. A sponsor is not necessarily going to make or break your career by any means, but definitely you can see the benefits here on the upward spiral. We don't want anyone to be on the downward spiral. So hopefully, not surprising to you, that employees with this level of support for growth and development within their organization at work, they have more positive employee experiences. They're twice as likely to be engaged, and almost 98% more likely to strongly agree that they would recommend their organization as a great place to work. So not only are you saying, oh my gosh, I'm supported in my goals, I see growth opportunities, but hey, you might like to work here as well. And that gives you the chance to kind of pay it back or bring it forward in that sense. Again, just some key things to pull out here. You feel valued and rewarded. You are building networks and gaining visibility by means of other people. Certainly having the confidence and validity of people saying, yes, I like what you're doing, so much so that I'm going to go tell someone else about it, really is going to help you kind of continue that confidence and work more towards your growing self-esteem and your future opportunities within the organization. So we're coming back to these types of sponsorships. If you remember the graph initially, or the graphic, we talked, these are closer to the public relationship. So let's take another second, if you will. Think of someone in your network, maybe the same list that you worked on before. What level of sponsorship or what type of sponsor were they to you? Did they open doors for you, make introductions, maybe at a holiday party, an employee social event, employee resource group? Are they inviting you to different meetings or coffee chats with folks at the organization you otherwise wouldn't engage with? Are they giving you opportunities? Is it an email introduction or a nomination for a special stretch project, or a nomination for you to take on a new client, or get involved with a special presentation or research project? That's a really nice way to kind of ease in, right? Someone will nominate you for a project or an initiative because they know your work and they know your interest in there, and they are giving you the chance to prove yourself at that table. Last but not least, of course, is them being an advocate for you. So are they talking highly of you during year-end reviews? Or let's say the next level up, there's director meetings where strategic planning conversations are going on, and this person can say, no, Sally Joe has been great at this project and this project and this project, and she really is the person who deserves this promotion, who deserves this job, should be the leader on taking on this new initiative. Those are all different ways that you can really start stone stepping your career moving forward by gaining those additional opportunities. So ultimately, it comes down to people that are in your network. You're going to look at who is available to you? How do you approach them? How does power play a role? I mean, let's just think of internally in your network, who's available to you? Is it the spaces that you frequent the most that provide access to a specific group of people? Is this an employee resource group, maybe an affinity group, a women's group, or one related to your ethnicity? Is it something else like a Girls Who Code, or maybe you're in a male-dominated field like engineering, and your specific organization has engineering for women employee resource group. Finding others who are available to you at all different levels in the organization and have similarities will be a great way to really start that relationship, because you have that similarity. The approach, tending to seek out people who are like us. So like I said, starting with those groups where you might find people who are like you. Then you might get into the women's employee resource group and say, oh, there's a group here for young professionals, or there's a group here more specific to people who have young families or who are returning from maternity leave. Whatever your situation is, where you might feel that you need support, those are the individuals that you want to be with. People like you who maybe have navigated the process that you're looking to do, or they have goals similar to what you're trying to reach, could be really beneficial to you in this. And then the power, I think it's important to really understand how systematic problems can create barriers for people to access spaces. So biases, unfortunately, play a role in this. And when you're picking folks that you are looking to advocate for you, but also make sure that you're connecting with the right people. So are people, the person you're connecting with, are they several steps away from the ones that hold the power in this situation? I put that in quotes because you also have power in all the situations. And I just want to toss out a few examples here. If you are maybe an intern or a new hire or a contract worker within an organization, and you've worked closely with a newer, maybe like a 3-year-old associate on a project that was incredibly successful. You got raving reviews, you got emails from people that said, oh, so-and-so was so great on this project, really impactful, really helped move the needle forward. That associate might be holding like an informal leadership role to you because that's who you've gone to, that's been your point of contact. But they also need to be able to be a champion for you within their circle, and then who is in their circle. So everyone, they're going to tell everyone who would listen that you were great, their boss, other associates, cross team managers that they work with, other clients that they work with. You really got to get Sally on this project next time because she has this great skill that's so impactful. But is that person have the power, the influence to get you to the next level, to secure a full-time position? Is that even your goal? And so you really have to be strategic when thinking of what those goals are, who can help you get there, and then ultimately, what does success look like? Another kind of silly example that I thought of here when it comes to sponsorship is, let's say you're in like a pickleball rec league, and you know someone that plays in a more competitive league, and you're so bored, people don't show up in the league you're in, but you can't get on that roster on that competitive league. Can your friend or fellow pickleball partner advocate for you to be a sub when needed? That will give you the chance to show up, to prove yourself, to you are competitive, that you can work in this competitive pickleball league. Can they talk you up, build up your skill, talk about your quickness or your teamwork or other things that are important as a pickleball player, and what others want, so that they want you to be the sub. They are positively saying your name on the pickleball court, if you will, and others want you to be in their team. They want you to be a part of their more competitive league. So who has the power? Is this other person a team captain in the league? Like, who can they help connect you with that will help you get what you want, in this case, being in a more competitive pickleball league? Just a few things in terms of how you build that sponsor at work, and in a way, letting them help you. Ultimately, I mentioned before, you are asking a favor for someone to be a sponsor for you, right? They're going to put their neck out there, and they are going to be a good voice for you. And you want to make sure that they are confident in that. You don't want them to seem that there's any risk associated with it. So having that credibility and that trust is really important within your sponsorship relationship. So are you performing your tasks well? You are meeting deadlines. You don't want to be late. You just want to show extreme professionalism. I mean, think of this. If someone that you've worked with before that maybe was late on projects, maybe didn't pull their weight in the full project, then asked you to go put in a good word for them, you might balk at that idea a little bit. And so you want to remove any doubt that this person might have that you will break their trust or make them look bad. By as way of sponsoring you, they ultimately are kind of showing their colors and supporting you. I think it's also important that you take initiative and be bold. So don't give them a reason to doubt you, but also let them know how much you appreciated working on that project with them. Showing interest in that will definitely be important because someone who's passionate about the project or wants the project to be on their team, not someone who's just assigned because it's just their job, right? Another part is the feedback. Not only should you be asking for feedback in your sponsorship relationship, but you should be receiving it well. And I think that's something that all of us need to really work on. So not only do you just have to take the feedback, but you have to make the small changes as needed. Understanding their point of view and applying what you've learned. Just don't take it personally. It can be hard to receive that feedback, but it's important for them, your sponsor, to know that you are coachable so that they can also share that with others who are at the table listening. Might feel weird at first. I definitely don't think it's easy for everyone to ask for help, to ask for feedback, to willingly take the feedback and to work internally, especially when you have so many projects and crazy things going on. But these vulnerable and candid relationships really can help you make strides when it comes to your career growth and what someone else is able to do for you. I think it's also important that you have to understand your boss's expectations and your goals. So you might know them to a level just because of strategic plannings or strategic initiatives, department goals that you might have or be aware of, but try to dig a little bit deeper and really understand how your boss measures success. So making a positive impact within your team makes things easier for your boss, so they'll continue to trust projects, to learn new skills, to advocate for you, etc. Making the ask is also something that takes some vulnerability. You have to be honest about what you want. And this takes some self-reflection. We're going to get to this in the next stage. Some important questions to ask yourself. What is it that you want your sponsor to do for you? Is it the next step in a career? Is it just a stretch project? Is it the opportunity to get professional development or learn a new skill? Are you just hoping that they connect you with somebody? Any of those things can be true, but you just need to be clear on what you're asking them. So having that clear value proposition, make sure you are proactive in answering the question, what's in it for me, before they have to ask you. And then keeping them updated. Man, I think this is one that is those things that oftentimes we get so busy and we get to the next step and we often forget who got us there. So keep people updated. Maybe there's just slight progress, but let them know how you're doing. Is it a new simple task? Have you enjoyed it? Has it helped you realize that is even more the direction you want to go? Or maybe it's not exactly what you thought it is. And by way of them giving you the opportunity on this project, they really helped you. Thank them. Make sure that you are updating them with your goals and opportunities that you're interested in, especially as your career progresses. And again, if they are in a different position to be better advocating for you. I see a question in there. How many sponsors within an org is ideal? It's a good question. I don't think that there is a magic number by any means. I think that you'll have to do the reflective work of how are they serving you, and are each of them getting the same benefit, right? It's not no work, right? It takes a little bit of work to keep them updated, to build their trust, to build their credibility, to establish and continue that relationship. And so depends on what your goal is. Maybe there's two different projects or two people on the same team that you're kind of working to help get to one place, or maybe you have different goals and one is more social and one is more tactical to your job and your career growth. And so each of them will be serving a different purpose. But again, I don't think there's necessarily a magic number on how that works. They might even be friends or know each other, or one comes after the other as you continue building your professional network. I mentioned this before, help them help you. ultimately you're asking them a favor, and everyone's busy. Not everyone has time to do nice things for everybody else as much as we wish that we could, but take some action now. These are some important questions that you need to understand as an individual before you can ask someone else to help you. So does this person, or do you know what your career goals are? Short term, long term, ideal 10-year position down the road? What steps is it going to take to get there? Has this person seen your work ethic? Do they know your skills? Do they know your attention to detail, how you show up professionally? Do they know your, again, work ethic and what it is that you bring to the table? And then does this person trust you? We kind of talked about this before, but have you established that credibility? Have you proven to them that you are worth their voice and them championing for you? So if you've answered no, you definitely want to take some action here. So do the reflective work, know what you want and the steps to get you there, and be strategic with those. So research the connections of others. Are they the right people to help you get the opportunities? Are they several layers away from key decision makers? Can they help you close the gap or meet new people? Can they get you on a project that will allow you to connect with other people that will help you get to the next step? So really kind of thinking that long-term plan. It's not just a one time you ask for a sponsor, someone says one good thing about you and the dominoes continue to fall. I mean, certainly we wish it was that simple and that's how things worked, but we know, unfortunately, it is not like that. So keep doing your research for those connections and asking for the opportunities. Make the ask and make it compelling for them. Are they willing to help you out? What's in it for them? Would your advancement in this project allow you to give back to them or their team? Would it help you build a skill that would be impactful to your current team and things that help them reach their goals? And then again, ultimately kind of checking in with them, updating them frequently. Is that the year end? Is that quarterly? Is that bi-monthly? Is it 5 minutes in your monthly one-on-one with them? You know, how are you keeping them abreast to what it is that you're doing, your progress, and keeping that vulnerable and candid conversation open? This is also a good chance now to be able to think like, if you in the future, maybe right now you're like, I'm good where I am, my plate is full, I don't really, I want to learn and master the skills of my current job, but in the future I would love to work with this person on this team or to learn more about this. Start thinking of those people right now. Start thinking of, you know, when you get emails from people or you're copied that says, so-and-so did such a great job on this project. It was lovely to work with them. They contributed this, or they made this impact. Save those. Save those and then use that kind of as like a Rolodex. I don't know if people still have a Rolodex, but and maybe that's not even what it's called, your address book, your contact book of people you could go back to and ask in the future. You can remind them, oh, remember when we did this project? Here's what I really liked about it. This is what it gave me, and this is how it's aligned to where I want to go. Are you able to help me kind of fill the gaps and help me move forward with reaching this goal? So that is kind of where I am. I think to relate it all back in terms of the work that we are doing, is, you know, I've had the lovely opportunity here at Forte to work with thousands of women to help them get into an MBA program of their dreams and move their career forward. And one thing in that process, and you might be thinking about this in your future or maybe not yet, is when you're going back to get your MBA, you will need professional references. And so now is the time to kind of keep track of the positive feedback, the impact you've been making on those project, big work wins. Having those continuous goal setting conversations with your supervisor and your sponsor will allow them to buy into your dreams and better support you. So you'll be able to remind them of your goals, all of the things that you've accomplished, and ultimately have a more cohesive, thought out plan moving forward. I think these continued conversations allow that real human, that public relationship aspect of the sponsorship, if you think back to that first spectrum or the new paradigm we talked about. But these people also have the opportunity to coach you and share their own experience. And, oh, when they were in your shoes as a young career professional, here's the route they took, but, oh, this is where they wish they would have gone, or the differences they would have made. So ultimately, you have some work to do. You have to help them help you, make it easy for them to want to be your sponsor, to want to share positive words about you, and to help you reach your goals or accelerate your career. I think that's all I have now. So I'll take some questions. And I see that there are a few in the chat again.
Yes. We have actually quite a few questions, Sarah,
Oh,
so I'm going to
good.
help you manage them.
Okay.
But first, I just want to say thank you so much, Sarah, for like taking the time to share your knowledge with our group here. I thought it was extremely helpful and knowledgeable, especially kind of talking through the difference of like what is a sponsor versus different types of advocates, if you will, or coaches or mentors in your life. And then I always love practical tips. So I really appreciated the three questions at the end of like, okay, thinking through like, how can you help them help you? And we have about 5 minutes before we officially have to end the webinar. So
Great.
just kind of looking over some of the questions that we're getting in, I want to start with kind of talking about, I think one of the big questions where I'm hearing from some of the attendees is, I'm struggling to identify who can be my sponsor. And I know you did talk a little bit about like putting yourself in places or rooms where you're able to meet new people. So I think you mentioned like a women's ERG would be an example in an organization. So you find people who are kind of like you. But just in general, is there any advice that you would have or want to kind of hone in on that even if you shared before, as far as like how do you really strategically pick people to sponsor you?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's challenging. Just like, people seem uncomfortable with networking or all of the things that kind of, it's hard to talk about yourself. It's hard to make a case for yourself to get someone to buy in and support you. I personally think a supervisor is a great place to start, especially if you are early in your career. That is a person you are working with day in and day out. Now, it might be a different level. Maybe you are on a large team and you don't have one-on-one time weekly with your supervisor, or you're not at the point yet where you can have those pretty candid conversations about what your goals are, especially if you're brand new to the organization. Your first week, you can't be like, oh, I'm going to be at this 3 levels up by next year. That's my goal, right? And so those can be a little bit tricky. But look at the people who have taken your path before. We often use this idea of like a resume buddy, which I think they may or may not be your supervisor, but someone who's taken the career path you have before can help you, especially if you are able to get to a point of having that personal relationship with them. Almost like an indirect leader could also be somebody else, especially if they're very well connected. So let's say, for example, there's someone who was in your role 2 years ago. They've since been promoted a few times. They have had opportunities for all of these stretch projects. The conversation doesn't need to start straight up like, will you sponsor me? Like, no, tell me about yourself. Get them to open up, see the similarities that are there, and then eventually make it kind of like a collective decision to move forward with the sponsorship and that asks. Because it can be, if you are new at a job and you don't know your supervisor, it seems weird to say, hey, will you sponsor me? You don't know me, you don't know my work ethic. I haven't shown you that you could trust me yet to do a good job if you say my name at the table. But kind of starting those slow conversations. It's not something you're going to get tomorrow. A sponsor is not something you're just going to walk into a new job and find tomorrow. If you're lucky, you might get sponsor vibes from someone, but it's going to take some work to build that relationship and establish that credibility on both ends.
Yeah, and I think it goes to at a previous series that we had, kind of talking about like how do you ask someone? Like you don't have to go up to them and be like, "Will you be my sponsor?" Like
Yes,
there's more subtle ways of being like, "Oh, I'm interested in this project. Would you put my name forward?" Like
correct.
that, and that person can still be considered your sponsor, even if they may not call themselves that. As long as they're doing what needs to happen for you to get that opportunity, they're your sponsor.
Yes.
So I think, yeah, talking about that of like, yeah, just making sure you're doing what you can to show them your best foot forward and starting to develop that relationship because they need to trust you in order to help you move forward in your career.
Yeah.
So I love that advice, Sarah. I know we're getting closer to time. I think the only other thing I want, question I want to bring up based on what I'm seeing in the chat, it's kind of about because we've had a lot of conversations about like mentors and different things like that. Is it common for, say, you're looking at your network and you identify like, oh, great, I have like three really strong mentors or even one strong mentor, but I have no sponsors. Is it possible to move people to different parts of the spectrum, if you will, or do people really kind of like stay in one aspect of like, I shouldn't expect them because they're my mentor, they can't be my sponsor. So do you have any like thoughts or ideas about that? Like how to nurture
Yeah.
relationships that way? Or is it like, yeah, they're already a mentor, I shouldn't ask for too much?
No, no, I think they can certainly grow. And we mentioned at the beginning, people filling these different roles for you at different points in your career. Let's say you just got a promotion and you're navigating that. Do you need someone to go to the table and say, "Oh, Alexia, she needs more. She wants more. She wants more." You're just trying to get used to that new role and the new responsibility. And so at that point, a mentor might be more helpful for you to be able to kind of help you understand or manage your time or get acclimated. You might be in a position to change careers, and a previous mentor you see works at a company you might be interested in. So can you go back to them and have recall the work experience and the things you did for them, although you maybe haven't talked to them in a year, but they've switched companies or they have connections at a company that you might be interested in? Could they open the door for you, right? There's varying levels of sponsorship. We talked about and someone who's just opening the door, someone who's helping you make the connection, and then someone who's talking about you at the table that you're not at. And so what do you need from that person at that particular time in your career? And how can you coach them up to help you the best way that you need in a way that serves your goal? So short answer, I think everyone can kind of ebb and flow. A mentorship is a mentor moving to a sponsor sounds great because they know more about you. You're not starting over from the zero. You kind of have a foundation of understanding of each other, and perhaps your mentor knows what your goals are or has helped you as understanding of the projects and the skills you've developed over time. That would be a great foundation to ask them, "Hey, can you step up a little bit? Can you take it a little bit further for me?" And again, yes, don't have to outright say, "Will you be my sponsor?" But are there opportunities where they can toss your name in the hat or nominate you for something, or any kind of level of what comes next as it relates to your goals?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it makes total sense. Like how like you're changing as time goes on as your career is progressing, and so are the individuals in your network. And like you never know like what's going to happen if that mentor you had from a previous job is now going to be in a future job opportunity, and how
Yeah.
can you utilize that? So, yeah, I think we're pretty much at time actually. So, apologies we can't get to all the questions, but thank you so much again, Sarah, for taking time today to speak with our audience about sponsorship, like what it is, how can you best optimize your network in order to find sponsors, to cultivate sponsors. And we hope that our audience here today was able to learn something from this webinar as well. So with that, we're going to officially wrap up. So again, thank you everyone for attending today. We're so excited you were here. It is pretty much the end of the season, but we will be shortly planning our 2026 webinar calendar. So stay tuned. Definitely check out the website for more updates as far as events that we're hosting at Forte. And we hope to see you in the new year. So thanks everyone. Have a great rest of the day.